Wow, we're going to have to make a show called The Nick of Time. Amber just jumped back into her chair in the nick of time. Good morning, ladies.
That was Shanda. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
It is what, Tuesday?
Oh, God, I can't believe it's Tuesday. Tuesday and Torch It. It's crazy. And Jesus, good morning, Jesus. Is it Jesus or Jesus?
Good morning.
Jesus, Jesus. Is it?
I wish you put an H or a J in the chat so we know exactly which one.
Yeah, I know you've told me before. I apologize, but my brain, like I said, my circuitry's all burned up. And then we have Al. Al from Vermont is here. Thank you for being here again. Good morning, Al. Good morning. We got the accidental activist and Rhonda Walker and the bald guy with the earmuffs on. Anyway, so anything stick out today other than a dump truck
behind your head?
You like my little my deer bow here? You like this, my deer bow? So, let's get a good look at that nice little deer. Isn't that a pretty little fawn? Yeah, it's a pretty fawn. I like that fawn. God, we've got a truckload of news stories that we're going to be picking apart today. I want to start off with this one. This one, Shanda, this was from you. This is local pastors worried that bringing the RNC could be dangerous. Do you want to preface this a little bit before I start it?
Yeah, this is a local Jacksonville station, and they're reporting last week a couple hundred doctors came together to beg the local government to not allow the RNC convention to go forward in Florida in light of COVID. And now we have even more pressure coming about racial tensions. And, it seems like Trump has some kind of historian on his administration that is like literally seeking out historical events to crash. So we saw that in Tulsa, and now we're seeing that in Jacksonville.
Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Carey has been one of the driving forces to bring the Republican National Convention to the River City in August. But a group of nearly 80 African-American pastors want him to reconsider. News4Jax reporter Lena Pringle joins us live. And Lena, these pastors sent the city a letter, and they're asking them to reconsider bringing the RNC here to the River City.
Good morning, Bruce. That's exactly correct. Among those nearly 80 pastors that sent that letter, they say they're worried that bringing the RNC to Jacksonville could be dangerous. News4Jax spoke with Pastor Gary Williams about the letter. Williams claims the letter is not about Republicans or their convention. It's about any major event that could hurt the city. The pastors also point to the historic date of August 27th, which will be 60 years since Axe Handle Saturday in downtown Jacksonville, a day when a racially motivated attack on black youth who were protesting at a white-only lunch counter were attacked by an angry mob of white men wielding axe handles in downtown Jacksonville.
So when you look at the history of that particular day, and when you look at the climate of what we're in now, incendiary rhetoric, bellicose language, et cetera, then it'll turn this city into a powder keg is what it will do.
The mayor's office would not react specifically on the letter from the pastors, with the spokesperson telling us, "We are going to respond to the pastors as we do everyone who contacts Mayor Curry and the administration, but we are not commenting otherwise." This letter comes 1 week after a letter was sent from almost 200 doctors urging the city to reconsider hosting the RNC. So far, the plans still continue to move forward with bringing the RNC here in just a few weeks. Live in downtown Jacksonville, Lena Pring.
I thought they were talking about having a virtual convention like the Kratz.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, they're not
buying that. But it just seems like
I don't think the RNC ever mentioned a virtual.
Yeah, no, they're all about in person.
Huh. Well.
Yeah, I don't think they were talking about virtual.
I think
that only came from the DNC.
I think I might be willing to take a bet on that at this point. Al, is that our Al? Is that our Al in there?
I think it is.
Hi, Al. Hey, Al. Al says Lena was harassed by Jacksonville president of police union, the reporter. And wow. Good to see you, Al.
Yeah, so like I said, we got a man on the ground there, and hopefully we'll be getting some updates and reports as this comes through. And it's a story that we're definitely watching.
Yeah, Dingo Ate My Baby said Trump would say there were good people on both sides of that lunch counter sit-in.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah,
Absolutely right, Dingo.
that's what. That's what he would say. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I would. How much money are they supposed to be bringing into the city?
I don't remember the exact number.
I'm sure it's worth at least a life or two, right? That much money that they could bring in. I mean, my God, these city officials need to.
It's Florida, man.
Yeah, well,
Man.
yeah. When is the RNC? Like a week or two before the DNC?
I think it's after.
Yeah.
Isn't it a week after?
I don't know. We need to find out so we know what we're talking about.
August 27th. So
Oh, it's after.
August 27th.
So the pandemic is growing exponentially now, and they're still all about the in-person thing. I see McConnell starting to tout the everybody needs to wear a mask line now that he's
I
fine
saw
with.
that.
Yeah.
Shocking.
So anyway, and you brought up, or a Dingo brought up what Trump said. Here's something that Trump said that I think you'll find interesting. You want to read this, Rhonda?
Thank you to the great people of South Dakota. The state is doing a tremendous job with the coronavirus. I told the governor that everyone is fine without a mask. They just need to keep their border with California closed. That state is full of losers.
Losers.
Is that a real tweet? That's a real tweet.
Who knows anymore? When I read these things, I'm like, no, that's got to be fake, and then I find out it's real. So I take everything with a grain of salt anymore.
Did they read you the states, the lines of the states,
Yes,
and I didn't know it?
Didn't you know that it's actually more like a Rubik's Cube? Our states, they can change where they border against
What? What?
at any time.
Geography's not his strong suit. Come on.
Well, shit. I'm geographically challenged too. I didn't. I was worried about where Scotland was at one point, and it's in the UK.
And I was reading that, and I'm like, I'm reading it too, like, nice. And like that, like it's too late to change my voice.
Right. Losers.
Loser.
Is this how you do it? You put it like this on your head? Yeah. See, I've got. Yeah. You ladies don't have as big a canvas on your head as I do. I got all that bald space. So.
Our hands are bigger than Trump's too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They sure are. That's.
Mine might not be. Mine are pretty tiny.
Yeah, you do have
Mine
tiny
are
hands.
Really, really
Yeah,
tiny
you do.
hands.
Rhonda, tiny hands.
Yeah. Where mine came out when I was a baby. My hands and feet were laid up on my wrists and ankles, and my sister said, "Oh, Mom, you had an alien baby," because my hands were too big, and it was like, what a nice.
We know that.
Yeah, we know that.
That's really not a deer behind you. Those are really your ears.
Those are really my ears. Yeah, it's my favorite Martian gone wild. So anyway. So speaking of the Dakotas, is this have to no where is this clip from, Shanda? This is Democracy Now!, right?
This is Democracy Now! Talking to LaDonna Brave Bull Allard from the Dakota Access Pipeline. Her property is right on the the Cannonball River, and so she housed a lot of the water protectors.
Yes.
This is a great interview. It's a really long one. It's like 20 minutes or something. So I took a few clips out of it just so we could talk about a few things in it.
Yeah, I think everybody should get to watch this entirety. But these clips are good cuts. They run a little long, but not too long. So
Yeah,
which should be a green economy at this point.
I wanted to turn to U.S. Energy Secretary Dan Bria responding to news the Dakota Access Pipeline would be shut down pending review, and the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, which we're going to talk about in a second, is canceled. He was interviewed on Fox Business Network by Stuart Varney.
Mr. Secretary, in both of these cases, do you blame activists for essentially shutting them down?
That's right, Ashley. Great to be with you. I do. In fact, I do indeed. In both cases, I think it's applicable.
It appears that in comes a lawsuit to prevent it, even if they don't even know where it is and what it's for. It just is that blind opposition to anything that the energy industry tries to accomplish.
That's correct. I would agree with that. And I'm not quite sure what they're cheering, except for perhaps the loss of jobs all throughout America.
So that's the U.S. Energy Secretary talking about crediting protests, actually, with the closing down of these major pipelines. LaDonna Brave Bull Allard, did you ever dream on that day, April 1st, 2016, that so many people would come, not only to your property, the Sacred Stone Camp, but to the Red Warrior Camp and to so many others, what this activism would mean? And where do you think, how do you think it will manifest itself now?
I had no idea that so many people would come and stand up. But after talking to indigenous people from all over the world, we are all in the same position of extraction industries coming in, destroying water and land and our environments. Right now, we are in the 6th extinction rate of animals. We shouldn't be here. When I started talking to people from everywhere, one of the things that I understood is it is a time for change. The time is now. We cannot go any further with extraction industries until we repair and allow the earth to heal again. That is the most important thing that we have to do to live. We have to have clean water. We have to have clean environments to live.
That's pretty sobering, and I would say 150% accurate. I mean, yeah.
LaDonna Brave Bull, if anybody who's been following the Dakota Access over the last 4 years knows how just outspoken and brave she has been, and she's battling brain cancer. So I think that's why she's a little bit slower with her thought process right now. Definitely sending prayers and healing thoughts out to her. But, you know, I'm always saying every day, I say, you know, ain't no power like the power of the people. And this is a prime example of that. It takes us coming together. It takes us forcing these industries to shut down. And this one's got to be the number one priority, especially because, you know, if you understand what's going on with the water on the reservations, they don't have any water. It's not just there. You know, the Navajo Nation doesn't have water. The water they have is poisoned. And you know, this pipeline was rerouted around Bismarck, so it wouldn't affect the white people's water, basically.
It was originally supposed to go right by that town, and the white people said, no, not here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now's not the time to let up. This wasn't a huge victory. We know this was just a 30-day stay. You know, if we could build off this momentum, we have to. And don't consider it a done deal. You know, money always tries to win out in the end. So we got to be even more vigilant now.
Well, it was interesting watching that. What was the energy secretary, that dickhead at the beginning of this thing?
I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
your face, buddy.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, yeah, all they're doing is losing jobs for people there and all across America. I want to reach in and pinch his head off. He's like a zit that speaks. I can't stand that guy. So
like those were jobs that natives would have got anyway.
Oh yeah. It's
they
like
would have brought in people from other states.
No,
you know, rich white guys.
Yeah, natives.
And those jobs are minimal.
Yeah,
ultimately.
Yes,
for especially compared to the destruction it will cause.
Sound like
minimal and short term.
Sound like
it's not worth it.
Does it sound like what you're going through with Kalama? All the labor who's supporting the methanol project, and they're threatening the people.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, there was last spring they had a big deal down there, and those in labor. It was 9 to 10 people who were against it, and or 9 to 1. And labor, 1% of them there were actually threatening people at that focus, that meeting that they had. And I'll tell you, labor, again, you're doing yourselves no good. You're doing your children, the planet, everything else. I know you need a roof over your head. I know you need income. We all do. Look at what the pandemic's going on. Think about it before you start threatening your sisters and brothers because they're trying to help you. So this clip goes on, and I'm going to start it at 15, Shanda.
Yes,
and this is the interview with the other lady, right?
Yeah, this is she's an attorney that works with she works with all of the nations, I want to say. I know she was just down in the Navajo Nation, so yeah. We'll roll it.
Okay, we'll roll it.
With the Court of Appeals. We also believe the Army Corps of Engineers has the ultimate jurisdiction over this matter pursuant to its regulations governing Corps property, they said. If you could comment on Energy Transfer Partners CEO, the billionaire Kelsey Warren, a major supporter of President Trump, recently hosted a fundraiser at his home in Dallas. And if you can talk about his role.
Kelsey Warren was, somebody that was absolutely, completely oblivious and, outright dismissive of human lives on the ground. I mean, you mentioned at the beginning of the segment, the fact that Energy Transfer Partners, private security, unleashed dogs on women and children, unarmed people, that people were bitten. I interviewed Tashina Smith, a young woman who had been bitten on the breast that day, and that was a pattern of ongoing harm and extreme brutality that was unleashed onto unarmed women and children and to unarmed people that were trying to protect sacred sites from destruction. Kelsey Warren knew all of this. He knew about the environmental racism question. He knew about, the fact that there were 10,000 people at one point in this encampment in North Dakota. It was the 13th largest city in the state. He knew what was happening. And I'm sure he knew when all of his shareholders were showing up and his financial backers, the 17 banks behind the Dakota Access Pipeline project, were pulling out parts of their loans from the project. His alignment with Trump is similar to many fossil fuel industry insiders and executives that have either been installed into the administration itself, like I think about the Secretary of State, former Exxon CEO, many lobbyists and people that have established themselves in the administration. I'm guessing they're pretty nervous about the upcoming elections and the handling of the COVID-19 crisis by the Trump administration.
Wow.
Right.
Again.
But don't be confused and think that if Trump loses, then these issues fall by the wayside, because time and time again, the Democrats have proven that they're just as terrible on policy when it comes to the pipelines as the Republicans, because they all benefit, they all enrich themselves with these pipelines.
Well, they've all, they're all part of the military-industrial complex, and that is all about the oil, so of course it is one big party, and that's what people need to wake up to. Look what happened underneath Obama's
exactly.
Oh yeah.
reign. I mean, it was all about that. So there's not going to be any change, I believe, in this aspect of things, no matter who ends up winning the election.
Well, I think Jesus puts it right here. Water is a right. Housing is a right. Education is a right. Healthcare is a right. End of story, assholes. It's true.
Water is life.
Water is life, is a right and life. Yeah.
That's really the key thing. None of us will survive without clean water.
Yeah. We don't have a chance without clean water. I mean, just think about it, and cheese out here, our vegan fighter there. Animal farming is one of the highest uses of fresh water in the world, so
well, big ag is as well. So
and big ag, yeah.
About
yeah.
Big businesses is, they both have we've got to get back to permaculture. We got to get back to taking care of our land and animals around us altogether. This big monocrops, these big cattle farms. I mean,
everything's
revert back to
permaculture and everything that's good for us, not good against us. I mean, the old days are gone, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and ever since, it just started getting worse and worse and worse. Shanda, I appreciate this article for more than one reason. This lady right here, if you put that hairstyle on my mom, she would be the spitting image of my mom when she was that age. So that's brings back some fond but bittersweet memories. My mom would have been right there with them at Dakota, for sure. Again, great clip. Thank you so much. Where are we going now? We're going to go to. Let's talk about the Wipey Award today. Can we do that? Can we do the Wipey Award? No.
Yeah, okay.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
No.
I was playing.
The Wipey Award today is going to our good friend, if I can get it up here. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Kathy Copeland Padden. I've been following her a while, and she recently friended me after numerous requests. Kathy, what's your problem now? But I'm so glad.
Get it, Kathy.
I know. Kathy, and I think I'm about ready to get it up here. Here comes. Captain. Okay, here we go. Kathy, here's the thing. You don't hold a motherfucker's feet to the fire after you elect them. You do it before. It's called vetting, everybody. So, Kathy Copeland Pattern. Yeah, I mean, whoever thought of that?
We're not supposed to vet, because that could lead to possibly somebody using some of those vetting questions we might have asked them or questioned our people about on the opposite side and make them not win.
Oh, yeah, we have to. But right? Trump.
Isn't that the way it works?
Yeah, that's the way it works. So, So the most sought after award on the planet, the Wipey Award, goes to Kathy Padden.
Congratulations, Kathy.
Yay, Kathy.
That's the perfectly placed F-bomb.
Yeah, she does. She does.
Appreciate that.
We love it. We love Kathy's tweets, and we love them so much. I mean, her tweets are far more accurate than Dandy Don's could ever be. So the Wipey Award goes to Kathy Copeland Padden. Thank you, Kathy. All right, we're going to go to the CDC. Let's get this out of the way here, because I've been kind of sitting on this, wondering about it. We have the pandemic in our midst, and Sagar and Crystal talked about it this morning. You guys keep talking about stuff, and we'll keep featuring your stuff, because the other ones aren't talking about it. Right. And see if I can find it here. That didn't go well.
Hasn't been nearly enough focus on actual health care during this pandemic, but we want to start with some new reporting from the Washington Post, specifically about the way that the Trump campaign and administration is thinking about their coronavirus.
Yeah, that's right. Well, as you can see there up the screen, we've criticized the administration for not appearing to have a holistic, kind of grasp upon the crisis. Now, White House officials also hope Americans will grow numb to the escalating death toll. They're of the belief that people will get over it if we stop highlighting it, the base will move on, and the public will learn to accept 50 to 100,000 new cases a day. Now, this is flawed for many reasons. Number one of which is just not true. All public polling indicates that the moment the campaign and the administration was not seen as having a major handle on the coronavirus, that all demographic groups, as we talked with Ryan Grimm last week, have begun to shift away from Trump. White working class, elderly voters, senior voters, millennial voters, Gen X, everybody, every single group. And the overall approval rating is down to, I think the Gallup poll came out yesterday, 38% approve, 57% disapprove. That disapproval number at one of the historic highs of the Trump presidency. That is actually probably more important than even the approval number, because whenever you have soft approval but soft disapproval, then that's something that you can overcome. People are ambivalent. But whenever you have such a high disapproval rating, and then you pair that, as we've said here, Trump's political fortunes are...
Sagar gets too long-winded for me.
This was a good radar.
No, I don't. This wasn't his radar, was it? No.
Oh, okay.
No, this was the intro. I said months ago, and I'm going to stick to it. Whether I'm losing or not, it's too early for Biden to be peaking, but Trump will lose because he'll face plant on the pandemic so bad And I think 88% was the last figure I got. People unfavorably view the administration's handling of the pandemic. 88%, that's 12 points away from 100%. So yeah, can you say President Biden without throwing up in your mouth a little bit? What do you ladies think about that?
Just because they disapprove of his handling of the virus doesn't mean that they still won't vote for him, though. But you also got to think, too, he is at the moment sitting president, and he can do some things that Biden cannot, and they could throw out another stimulus just in time. It is way too early to look at any peak. It is, again, don't bank on anything, anybody. I tell everybody, I'm like, I am not voting until it is like 10 minutes before I have to drop it in the box, maybe even 5 minutes or 1. I mean, it'll be like, because you never freaking know what's going to happen, especially this year. So I don't know. I think I'm going to say I'm still thinking that Trump still has a good possibility, unfortunately.
Shanda?
Well, remember, the Republicans don't want to lose power no matter how much they disagree with Trump or dislike Trump. He's still their guy. Yesterday we saw Mitch McConnell toting the put your mask on and hinting to a stimulus. So, they're off for the next, 20 days, 18 days. So we know that a stimulus won't be in the next 2 weeks, but I definitely see them throwing some money at us, okay, it'll be people that make less than 40,000 is what they're saying. But, that's not who's just hurting in this country right now. And so they better look at widening that gap or they're going to lose a lot of voters, I think.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I'm giving up on my bet. I'm still saying, what I said before. If, Trump is the incumbent president, Biden's peaking too soon, Trump's going to try and get us out of, or at least optically act like he's getting us out of Afghanistan and these wars, which the Democrats helped stop, whatever that was, working with Liz Cheney, who they're positioning as the first woman president in 2024. Liz Cheney, can you believe it? Liz Cheney? Are you kidding me? So you got war criminals here, you got war criminals there, they're all working together. I'm still going to go with my bet. I'm going to pay off the bets if Biden happens to get over the election. Again, we are running a rock or a stump against the orange monkey in the White House. Sorry, but not. So, it could happen. You're both right. It's too early to say. Something major could swing. Do you think if they came out with a vaccine between now and November and Trump touted that vaccine and took credit for it like they always do, would that sway the bet to give Trump more? You're shaking your head the other way. I don't think they're going to come out with a vaccine either, but that's theoretically.
Fauci just yesterday in an interview said that regardless, they don't think that a vaccine would give you antibodies that would last very long. So what the hell would be the point? Even if they could make a vaccine in a month, which takes 7 years for only 6% of vaccines that get pushed through to market. If all the stars aligned and we got a vaccine tomorrow, they're saying you wouldn't even have antibodies for that long anyway. So we're not getting away from this pandemic with a vaccine. I just don't.
Well, right. Well, even from the beginning, they said they can't truly even have a vaccine because it's an RNA strand. So, right. I mean, all of the mainstream media and government, are so focused on this vaccine that ultimately isn't going to be beneficial to anybody. Right. The look into RNA strand viruses and why in this whole history there hasn't been vaccines for that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I don't know. I think they'll still use it as a dividing factor. Again, mainstream media. What are facts? What are facts and what are fiction? Is.
Yeah,
people still when they watch it, they don't take it in.
I want to point out, Jilly, you're right. I keep seeing, she says yesterday, RT reported it is flu. It's a vascular disease. Many autopsies are showing blood clots throughout the body. Yes, I am hearing this firsthand accounts from doctors that, yes, there seems to be a lot of blood clotting. I mean, we've heard some horror stories, actually. And so, that's kind of new information that they hadn't been putting out there. Which, how does a vaccine fix that?
Yeah, well, so blood clotting. That brings up the thought about that Nick, the Broadway actor that just died. He was 41.
94 days in.
Yeah, and did they have to amputate his leg because of blood clots or from the COVID?
Yeah.
Was that it? Holy shit!
Oh, I don't know if it was from the clot or something else.
Yeah, a pre-existing.
They did have to amputate, but I don't want to say exactly what was the cause.
Yeah, he was a very large, big, tall guy. Very athletic too, because he was a dancer and everything else. So that's
and
young, 41. And once again,
dropped the age of really who's being affected, and it is looking so different.
Yeah.
They say like there's a first part. There is that lung aspect, but then it attacks all different organs and different people. And younger and younger. I think an 11-year-old.
Yeah, 11-year-old. Yeah, 11-year-old infants have been getting it, and I don't know. It's the shit's hitting the fan, folks, and we're going into August. And our fearless leader said schools must reopen in the fall.
Kids aren't going to go to school.
No. I mean,
we're having that debate in my house too. Do we sign the kids up for school? Do we homeschool them? But we might have noticed yesterday, Harvard came out and said they're only going to do online classes. So immediately ICE jumped on that information and said, all students, international students that are in the U.S., if you're not going to a physical building, we're coming for you.
Yep,
they abolish did. ICE. What asshat?
What?
Yep.
They're going to come. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. All the foreign exchange students, so the ones that come in and go to school here. Yeah, they said if you're not physically showing up in class, you're out of here.
Which they can't, because they're not going to have physical classes. They're only doing online classes at a lot of these bigger universities.
Yeah, somebody needs to put a foot in somebody's ass on that one, and it isn't going to come out of the White House because they're perpetuating this shit. So again, I'm just shocked. Before we start talking about healthcare and viruses, which I brought my broom today for talk about healthcare. Here's something that I think that some of you may know, but others not. Now, this is not just Canada, okay? These are multinational companies.
So, grocery store workers at Safeway in Alberta have voted in favor of a strike. And this comes after their pay has been cut by $2 an hour. And this also comes while that company is making a ton of money. So just to give you the top line here. So Alberta Safeway Union votes to strike as contract talks stall. Hero pay removed. This from Global News. They go on to say the UFCW Local 401 union decided to hold the vote following stalemate contract talks despite the recent boom in the essential services grocery sector. Quote, the only way Sobeys will come to the table and bargain a fair contract is if they know we have the heart to fight them if necessary, even if it's not something we want to do. They need to know we're strong, Thomas Hess, the local union president, said during a telephone town hall last week. Sobeys, which owns a Safeway, ended its Hero Pay program on June 13th, which gave employees an extra $2 an hour, although it had also reported increased profits to shareholders through the COVID-19 pandemic, which I will get to in a second. And by the way, this ending of the Hero Pay in Canada, this isn't just Sobeys and Safeway. This is across major grocery chains. So other companies, in addition to this company, did this all at the same time in a coordinated effort to stamp out this idea that people are going to be paid, that these frontline grocery workers are going to be paid more than they were being paid before the pandemic. So, of course, Sobeys' parent company raises quarterly dividend after cutting employee hazard pay. So shareholders now making more money, but employees, as I showed you, they're being cut down. So there's actually a quote here I want to reference. The Canadian grocery giant behind Sobeys, Safeway, and Freshco on Thursday announced it will raise its shareholder dividend after profits soared during the coronavirus pandemic, less than a week after the company cut its pay bonuses for frontline staff. Empire Co. Limited said its adjusted net earnings ballooned by 43% to $181 million in its fourth quarter compared to last year. In a statement Thursday, Chief Executive Michael Medline called the 13-week period, which ended on May 2nd, quote, one of our proudest quarters in Empire's 113-year history.
Okay, they're so proud. They're so proud. I ran. Yeah.
Dry.
Yeah. I ran it a little long because I wanted to hear them say it. They're so proud of themselves for screwing their employees and enriching their stockholders. And the beat goes on. Shanda, come on, Shanda.
It's hard to just digest this shit and not be pissed off at the fucking world. I mean, let's rob the working class and make sure that the stockholders get more in their fucking pockets during the middle of a pandemic, Yeah. Rhonda, take it.
Isn't the pandemic over though? Why would they need?
Oh, for the love of God!
Hazard pay. It's the pandemic's gone, right? The virus is gone. It's not causing any.
We're knee deep in the first wave, according to Fauci.
Yeah. So
knee deep.
This temporary, we care little piece of Band-Aid at the beginning was all just bullshit. And they've soared because that's all people have been able to do is buy freaking groceries and get fat.
At least Canadians have money to buy groceries. They're actually getting stimulus and a UBI.
True.
We're not even fucking getting that down here,
Yeah,
that is true. We do give kudos because Canada is taking much better care of their people than our government is taking care of us. But it still shows this corporate greed. They're boasting about taking away from their frontline workers, which they were calling essential, which are still essential. They're boasting about taking away that pay and giving this huge boost to their shareholders. It's disgusting. Capitalism at its finest.
At its finest. Insight and awareness kind of nails it right here. And, I sound like a broken record, but insight and awareness. Hi, Insight. Good morning. Corporations destroy the people. I move to dismantle them now. So many of these corporations need to be nationalized. It's the end of the line because they've brought what they've wrought. It's to the point now, and we were talking about, the revolution. What's it going to take? Torches and pitchforks, guillotines? What's it going to take? I think it's going to take all of the above. I'm not.
I was about to say all of the above.
Yeah,
it's going to take all of us.
Yeah.
And Rainbow Coalition is coming together, whether everybody realizes it or not. So just keep on keeping on. We're getting there. The numbers are growing.
Yeah.
More and more people are getting desperate because they have nothing left. Yep. They're not going to have a home in less than a month? Because a lot of these things put into place to keep people in homes is being lifted off. So you're going to see only more and more desperation.
Yeah.
And nobody's prepared for that.
Well, there is some good news on that front, Rhonda. Jamie Herrera Butler down here in the 3rd Congressional District, she was she was touting how they've extended the PPP, the payroll protection. They've extended it to August 8th. Aren't you proud? August 8th from July 31st.
I didn't know.
My God.
Jamie.
Yeah. Thank you. That's so.
That way, people like Nancy Pelosi's husband can fill his pockets with the PPP, and everyday workers who own small businesses, sorry, there's no money, you're denied.
Well, I'll be surprised if they don't extend it further. But in the same note, we have Carolyn Long, a neoliberal, running for Jamie Herrera Butler's seat. Carolyn Long is all for the for-profit medical insurance, the Affordable Care Act. And, I don't have much to say about that because of this, that, and everything else. So we have one more case of who do you vote for? You don't have a choice. It's not the lesser of two evils. It's just who do you vote for anymore? We don't have choices. Granted, my sisters and brothers in the Democratic Party are going to just crap all over me for saying that, but I want to vote for some substance in a candidate on the issues that we all share. And like we said before, water's life, healthcare's life, housing's life. Everything's life. Don't minimize it by a for-profit medical insurance plan that's basically a scam, because we all can't afford the access that they're saying we're giving. So anyway, that being said, I want to highlight Kyle kind of gave us some really bad news that we already knew about, but I just want to reinforce it with this little clip.
So if you didn't think that Big Pharma was a comic book villain yet,
worse,
I have another story for you here. Pharma is suing to block Minnesota's new insulin access law. The Alex Smith Insulin Affordability Act was passed in honor of a 26-year-old who died rationing insulin. The law would have taken effect today. Pharma's fighting it during a pandemic. So the Star Tribune says, Pharmaceutical Industry Group sues to stop Minnesota's new insulin aid program. Lawsuit says Minnesota's new program takes drug makers' property without compensation. Compensation, okay. So this new law requires insulin manufacturers to supply the drug or reimburse pharmacies giving out insulin. And companies that fail to provide the drug face fines. So that's what this was. Now, Pharma responded to this by saying, quote, a state cannot simply commandeer private property to achieve its public policy goals. Actually, yes, they can, but I digress. And Pharma's complaint filed Tuesday in district court continued. The takings clause of the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution prohibits states from attempting to solve societal problems in this draconian manner. It's draconian to get people cheaper insulin. What's not draconian is withholding the insulin because of price and then somebody dying because they can't afford it. That's not draconian. What's draconian is making it cheaper for people. Okay. Just to put this in perspective for everybody, a vial of insulin here in the U.S. is about $320. You know what it is in Canada? $30. There are many people rationing their insulin. In fact, Charles Booker, who unfortunately just lost in Kentucky, barely lost, he's rationed insulin before. This is a crisis.
Yeah, it is a crisis, and I have a hard time watching this without the veins pumping up in my head. When I was doing my pharmacy tech job back in the 90s, I think it was 96, a vial of insulin at the retail level for everybody was $36.85. I remember that number because it was an odd number. The cost of that thing to that pharmacy was around $28.50. Okay, the cost to manufacture it was about 13 cents per vial. Okay, now flash forward to 2020. The cost of insulin should have gone down dramatically, but because it's a pharmaceutical, they have upped it 100 times across the board with many drugs. And this new so-called drug for the pandemic, they have pumped up to make it profitable, like $800 a whack. That doesn't even work. So again, the pharmaceutical companies are the enemy. We pay for their goddamn R&D here. Then they proprietary, patent this shit, and then they turn around and double dip us and kill us all. They're basically accomplices to murder by raising the price for access to the life-saving drugs that we need. Would you guys like to expand on that before I vomit?
It's worse than that, actually.
It is
I was
worse.
also in the medical field for a very long time as a medical assistant, and understood and knew the prices of drugs. But I saw when it started changing, the insulin went from generic and this generic, it was a very cheap. To where they started like, oh no, let's make it longer lasting. Let's just add this little thing to it and longer lasting. And then we can make it a brand name, and then generics can't even come out underneath a brand name for insane amount of time, and they keep pushing it out. But they do that with every drug. They went in and they took the most generic, the cheapest drugs out there that worked for people, and just started changing them a little bit, branding them, owning it, and then dropping it, saying nope, no more generics available. We're not making that anymore. That's not being made anymore. And they keep on just doing, and then they can rack up all the prices they want. And they do that with every single drug out there. It's ridiculous.
Well, as you guys know, this one is near and dear to me. My husband almost died in October from 9 years of rationing his insulin. And when we say that a vial of insulin costs $300, we're talking about a basic RH insulin. We're not talking the long acting like you're talking about, Rhonda. The long acting, and I could show you the receipts because I have to pick his pins up. We're talking $750 for one pin, one little vial. And if you don't have a prescription for these things, then you can't get them filled. So even if you have a prescription and you have the $750 to last you for the 3 weeks, you still need a doctor's appointment to get the damn prescription in the first damn place. And so every 3 months, regardless if they need to see my husband or not, he has to go to a doctor's appointment so that way they can bill the insurance, so that way he can get rewrote prescriptions that he's already had prescribed to him for years. It's a complete racket. This one pisses me off because I live with it daily. I'm going to start keeping the receipts to show what we would have to pay in a month if we didn't have insurance covering. And without Obamacare, we would have to be paying for these things. And that's why he went without for so long. For so long, we couldn't afford it, and there was no help. This is just pure ass greed, and it's killing people.
And so this is the good thing in Obamacare, that and pre-existing conditions, right? However,
it's the only good thing.
However, that for the 30 million people that can't get Obamacare, not so good, right? So while we see a couple of good things, a couple of crumbs out of Obamacare that are big crumbs for people in your situation, overall, this shouldn't even be a goddamn issue. The life-saving drugs should be available to everybody. And I'm going to go to cheese right here.
And they would have been. They gave us that patent, the
yeah
of insulin to the fucking people.
Yep.
And these guys ripped it off from us and
they ripped it off. Yeah. And here's something. You guys want some reality check here? This is not false. This is absolutely true. I know cheese personally. I've rationed my own meds before. A month's supply cost around $30,000. One dose is approximately $3,000. He ain't kidding. This is the truth. I will vouch for him 100%. Rhonda, you know this too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what he's on. I'm not going to, we're not going to disclose that. But yeah, that's exactly true. And if he couldn't get that, he'd be dead within a week. Yep. So this is
It's life-saving meds.
Life-saving meds.
Life or death without them. Exactly.
Yep. So this has got my hair lit on fire a lot.
So every one of those asshats sitting in Washington State and all the rest of the states that are running for re-election, if they say affordable health care, you're out the fucking door.
Yeah. I get beat on, your purity test. I got into it with
That is my purity test.
It is mine too. I got into it with one of my local friends. I thought he was a friend, but I said, hey, I'm not gonna, if you don't support Medicare for all, then I'm not gonna support you. And then I got this purity shit thrown at me. Oh, your purity test, they're great on everything else. So basically you're asking me to give up the lives of my friends, family, people I don't even know.
Sacrifice my husband.
Because for your purity test horse shit. You can go fuck yourself with your purity. Jam your purity test up your ass, because this is killing people. We just saw people murdered on the freeway protesting at the Black Lives Matter thing. That's my purity test too. This shit's got to stop. And if we don't get out in the streets and start supporting if you can't, any way you can, financially, giving them a place to crash, to report on these things, and you're not doing what you can do. I'm not shaming you into doing it, because everybody in this group knows what they should be doing. I don't need to tell you. So I'm gonna launch my broom here, and I could play this whole damn clip, but this is from Wendell Potter, who ex-Cigna executive, was part of the problem back until he saw the light, and he felt like he couldn't go through the end of his life without being honest and mea culping.
about this from the right is to be like, well, single-payer health care requires rationing of care on a macro level, and that particularly in a period like right now, whenever we have limited beds and limited government resources, that it could also lead to more mass rationing of care. What's your response?
Well, they actually ration care less in Canada than we do. In fact, we ration care in this country on the ability to pay, and that's one of the big problems, one of the reasons why our pandemic or our experience with the pandemic is so much worse. I was doing some research just the other day. In fact, in my old job, I used to spread misinformation about the Canadian healthcare system. It might surprise Americans to know that Canadians visit their doctors more often than Americans do, considerably more in a year. There are more doctors per 1,000 people in Canada than there are in the U.S. So this is just a myth that, regrettably, I and my former colleagues used to spread about the Canadian healthcare system. I've spent a lot of time in Canada in recent years. They are very supportive and protective of their healthcare system, and they look at the U.S. and they wonder why in the world we put up with this fragmented system. And now we're seeing the consequences, the deadly consequences of having a system like ours.
Yeah, why in the world? And Al Walski, same thing, Al. Yeah, why? Big question. Why are we letting this happen? Why the hell are we letting it happen? Well, Al, I think the point of demarcation between letting it happen and making something happen is upon us. And I think it's going to be within this 2020 cycle and the 2024 cycle that the shit's going to start flying from the public. Sharpen your pitchforks, light your torches. Let's get on these guys, especially the neoliberal element who, I want to remind everybody again why we don't have a universal system. Remember when Obama had the Congress and the House and the Senate? Tom Daschle and Howard Dean torpedoed that. They lost it by what? 1 or 2 votes, and they came in, and now who are they working for? The traitors! Howard Dean, ha 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 ha, screaming Mimi, and Tom Daschle, one of the tools. Democrats sold us out, hung us, and they are accomplices to murder as well. I will tell that to their fucking faces, and I hope they rot in fucking hell, especially Howard Dean, because he's been on the MSNBS bull train forever. He's a scumbag, and I'd say it to his goddamn face. So anybody that patronizes MSNBS and listens to their bullshit, I feel bad for you. You better wake up soon, because your sisters and brothers across the country are dying because of the likes of Howard Dean, Rachel Maddow, Chris Hayes, and all the other mainstream media. I just like to pick on them because they're the worst.
We're coming for you.
Yeah, I'm so done with these fuckers. I don't know what I'm going to do on my ballot, but it's certainly, I'm not going to support any of the neolibs in Washington State. We have progressives running. At least they say they are. We got to give them a chance because they're singing the right tune, but the other ones, to hell with it. I mean, it's time. We have to make a stand, grow some guts, and get going. I'm sorry I'm so adamant. Where's Kathy Padden? I need her in here instead of me.
Kathy, we should invite her on.
Yeah, she needs to come in here and tell us how it is. What do we got next? We got, let's talk about what Shanda alluded to earlier about who's making money off this thing, right, Shanda? Is that... Yeah.
Which thing?
This is the
which thing? Which thing?
Yeah, which thing?
Money all the
They're
way
all making money off of it. We're done.
They are siphoning. I mean, from everywhere.
Everywhere. Well, let's see what this one has to say. This one's titled. This is from the Rising again. Those who don't like Rising, well, we like it because they're at least bringing up the topics. Crystal and Sauger. Trump, Clinton, Obama aides revealed they get billions while workers suffer. Let's see what this has to say. Tell me if you can hear it.
Received PPP small business loans as part of that program. They just put out the list of companies that received loans over $150,000.
That's right.
And we did not learn the loan amounts. But it was pretty interesting who some of the recipients were. And look, let's back up and put this in context. The only reason that this is a story at all is because they didn't make it universal, because they didn't make it like the European country where he just backs up the payrolls and then it's not a scandal. Look, everybody wants workers to get paid, whether it's a small firm or large firm, whether you like the firm, don't like the firm, etc. So let's put that all in context here. But if we can throw up here a Daily Beast terror sheet, they dig into, look, Kushner's family, Obama aides, some of these, like
the Pod Save guys. The Pod Save guys.
Pod Save America.
Fenway Consultants, of course they did.
So, a lot of like politically connected people here seem to have no problem getting the loans that maybe, you or your mom or your dad or your family member or the business down the block had a lot of trouble getting these loans. And people here in this town seem to have had no issue whatsoever.
Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, nonprofit headed by David again, Trump, Obama, Clinton, all the way down the line, all their alumni are getting PPP loans. And again, I want to make this very clear, which is that companies that you don't like and that we find despicable also employ regular people. Those are the people I care about. I'm glad that they were able to get some of their payroll paid. The scandal here is that only these people got bailed out, right? Is that their workers got the, this PPP beneficence, but they only got a $1,200 check, only those making less than $75,000 per year. Everybody didn't get anything. And then even beyond that, what else has happened? The unemployment thing is about to expire. I think we need to replace it with a back to work incentive and in order to make up a lot of people's payroll. Is there any discussion on that? Are those people getting a bailout? What about all these essential workers who toiled away for a long time? They didn't get an extra benefit.
All right, Sauger's monologuing again. Cut it off. We got to get Sauger. We got to call Sauger and tell him not to monologue so long, please. He's worse than me.
The thing that they're missing on this is these PPPs that went to the 1% for their corporations a lot of these are called zombie corporations, which means they don't have the capital or the money to even keep themselves afloat. They're hanging on a prayer and a thread, but they're taking this money because they know they'll never have to pay it back. And then what do they do with the money once they get it? They invest it back into these companies and buy their own goddamn stocks, inflating the stock market. So that's why our economy looks so fucking great in the middle of a pandemic. So they're robbing us at the bottom and they're robbing us at the top. The wheels are going to come off at some point.
Rhonda, what do you think before I show this little article here that Shanda brought in about PPP?
Well, we were shouting at the at the rooftops about this when that stimulus went through.
Yeah.
And we were disappointed that Bernie and others didn't stand up to, and AOC didn't stand up to how these monies were going to be allocated. They pretty much gave a blank, check and said, do with what you want. And yeah, we want oversight, but yeah, we saw how that works. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that we're here and that we can't take care of our people. Yeah, I'm ready for the pitchforks.
Yeah, I think so too. Now, Shanda, you sent me this, right? Nancy Pelosi's husband, among lawmaker.
Well, yeah, it fit in perfect with what they were talking about on the Hill this morning. This dropped just this morning that Nancy Pelosi's husband and his business, they got PPPs because, they're so needy right now. So needy.
Well, yeah.
It's one big party, guys. One big party, and we are not in it.
Yeah, that's a big club.
Democrats and Republicans too. So those people saying, "Oh, well, it's the Republicans," or "Oh, it's both, guys." It's both.
Well, it's in this article, it's again, Sauger's point is that some of these companies we detest, they have real human beings working for them too that they want to take care of. But some of these billion-dollar companies, they don't need PPP. They don't need it. Some of them have been forced to give it back. I'm seeing McDonald's referenced here, and some of these other
Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah. And so like you said earlier, some of these media companies, some of them, but some of them not so much. It's just one way to double dip the system. Give a few crumbs to the ones on the side and then screw everybody else. And it's funny, the incestuous relationship the Republicans and the Democrats have in Congress. I said incestuous. Did I mean that?
You did.
But yeah.
Accurate.
Yeah, I think, they're all, again, it's a big club, baby, and you ain't in it. And they're going to keep screwing you. So Anyway, it's been a big news show today. Lots of news stuff. We hope that everybody in the in the chat enjoys it. We try and bring it a little bit different than everybody else. And if I can get my mouse to work right here. We want to go out with a couple of points here. We have a couple of graphics here. We've got this one. This is the one where the big club baby guy, our friend deceased, rest in peace, George. You were a modern day prophet. This one, get up, Kaepernick, died for your right to stand. I mean, people are just shouting and they've got their red shirts on, and unfortunately, a lot of them aren't mangas. Some of them are supposedly, the other side. And then in the little caption, you probably can't read it, it says, actually, we died for his right to sit or stand. And then George Carlin at the bottom, actually, you died fighting wars for a bunch of rich people who never gave a fuck about you. Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate, ladies. You want to add to that?
It says it all.
They always send the poor. They always send the poor.
They always send the poor. And then this one we covered yesterday. We had this lady out there. Yeah. Where was this? Was this in Alabama, I think? Was it Alabama?
I know they have that on the street in DC, but I don't know where this is.
Yeah, these two.
Yeah, some brilliant lady decided to
with her husband
over the yellow Black Lives Matter with black paint.
Yeah.
Well, racists aren't exactly known for their intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. I don't know if this has been photoshopped or whatever, but she needs a little direction on how to black out something. I don't want her redacting any of my personal information. So that would be that would be right? Yeah, that would be
This is ridiculous again. I mean, she is, this has disrupted her life so much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Dare they paint this on her street that she must be the one to do something about it.
Yeah, she must. She's the long arm of God there on the street with her roly paintbrush. And
dude, the crazy white women out there right now, every day you can find 20, 30 fucking videos that are going up on Facebook or Instagram with some lady freaking out over fucking nothing. Like, did you see the one Trump supporter lady who tore up the Target mask display?
Oh yeah.
And then she went out to her Land Rover because she was rich, and then they went to her house, and when they went to arrest her, she said that she worked for Trump and that QAnon had hired her. I mean, these people are out of their flipping mind.
Yeah, it was like that lunatic at Old Navy a couple weeks ago. She was screaming about because she wasn't wearing a mask. And you're in it for my right. I have a breathing problem. Well, maybe she did, but she just lost her shit. And there's lunatics abound, and some of these lunatics are murdering people. So watch your back. Be safe out there.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment since you just said that.
Yes.
Again for Summer.
Yeah, for Summer. Summer Taylor. Summer Taylor.
Yes, take a moment.
She lost her life. She is an activist.
Veterinary assistant in Seattle.
And a car very much purposefully went through the crowd, and she did lose her life. So let's take just a brief moment if we can. Her partner, or another activist out there who was injured. So inspiring. She came out and was just saying, you know what? This is not going to deter us. This only is making us fight harder. So just solidarity, and we need more people out in the streets. We can't back down now, especially.
Yeah, we really can't. And this is actually the shot of Diaz Love. That's her name, Diaz Love. And she had some words to say. Now she's in ICU here, right?
Harborview, yeah.
Harborview.
Yeah.
I cannot believe.
Taking death threats.
Yeah, taking
Trump
taking
supporters.
death threats. She's taking death threats. She's laying in intensive care. I'm alive and stable in a lot of pain. I can't believe Summer was murdered. Cannot believe Summer was murdered. Thought this murder would make us back down. They are very, very wrong. My Facebook is filled with death threats that and only being able to use one hand has me going slow. I deeply appreciate and feel the love you all are sending me. Please send her your love, thoughts, thanks, and support. Yeah, I mean, she's got the use of, we don't know anything more about it, but she's in Harborview. She was the other one in that shot that I will not play ever again.
Yeah,
I watched it once.
Yeah,
and,
that was it. And
every day I tell everybody that there ain't no power like the power of the people, so get your asses in the streets. But I want you guys to know that every time I go in the streets, or I am asking you to go in the streets, this is war. And when we go out there, there is a chance that we're not going to come home, that we are going to put our bodies on the sacrificial altar of liberty and justice and everything that is right that we're fighting for. So just know that when you go out there, you know, that you could not come home, or the person next to you could not come home. This is a war, and we are deep in the thick of it.
Yeah, Jilly.
True, Shanda.
Yeah, Jilly said one was a cop, right? No, one of them was a cop.
One that got arrested was an off-duty officer, I want to say.
But the other one,
I still haven't heard much about that story.
I haven't either.
Crazy. I've been chasing it, and I'll give you guys an update, but there's something really weird going on with this story.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been searching for some.
Yeah.
Well, not searching too hard, I guess, but I haven't been seeing anything at all on it.
Yeah.
Searched.
Yeah. But the one that was what was the first name? Duarte Kettle, was that his name?
Duarte Kettle. Yeah, I sent you the name.
He might be out on bail right now.
And that's a crime.
Him being able to post $1.2 million bail.
Where did he get that kind of money? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a crime in
10%
itself.
Or something. So
Yeah.
what, I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah, that's
But, you're right. It makes you wonder what's. Yeah,
Washington
he
State.
might have gotten help, maybe.
Yeah, Washington State University student, was it? Yeah, he was. Yeah, and if he's out on bail, that's a crime in itself. This was more premeditated than you can imagine in my viewing that thing.
I was seeing it around the country, though. Minneapolis last night. I don't know how many were injured. I don't have any of the details, but I did see that there was a hit and run last night.
Another
one. This is their news.
Is this going to be
the vehicles?
Is this going to be the copycat thing for the psychos? Is this what they're going to do? I don't know. I'm definitely ill over this whole thing. And thank you, Al Walski, for the super chat. Al, thank you for supporting Uphill Media and everybody and us. We really appreciate it so much. It's been a heavy news day, and we ended on this note, and we're happy that Diaz is alive. I don't know.
Yes.
We're going to keep following it. So send her your thoughts, prayers, love, anything you can do to help her in recovery, and emotionally she's broken for the rest of her life, and as we are through that. We are going to go out today with something that I hope is uplifting. It's really hard to have anything uplifting to go out with as far as music goes in these days and circumstances. We try our best. But this one was offered to us by Snork Y2K. Like I said, any of you guys who have music suggestions, please do it. I'm really kind of happy how it came out. It's a little rough, but it was a song, and I found a video that I thought would go along with it, so I merged them. What do we have going before I start this? We got the Accidental Activists. Are we going to do... is there phone banking Thursday again, Rhonda?
Yes.
Okay, so...
I have no idea where the Accidental Activist home is anymore.
But don't worry about the phone bank. Do your show. It's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, no, we're going to pull off of Thursdays, though, and so I don't know. I need to sit down. We need to talk.
I'm still looking at Tuesdays. I can have one ear in the meeting, because I just feel like in some of these meetings, as important as they are, my voice isn't much. I just need to stay up on them. I'm still liking Tuesdays.
I like Tuesdays, too. I don't want to go over some of our close allies shows, like the National Progressive.
Yeah, Christine,
So I'm trying to work it in, and with all of our meetings and phone banking and we will figure out where the accidental activist home is, and we'll let you know.
Yeah.
It's only actually the one Thursday a month we need for is actually our statewide call that we do with our revolution.
Yeah.
So that's only one Thursday a month.
Yeah, and 8 o'clock's too late for old Oz because he needs to go in there, and his wife's saying too late, and she's right. So anyway,
She is right.
This
We love you, Joey.
Yeah,
Joey's coffee.
Joey's coffee.
Buy some.
Yeah,
today.
this is from Snork Y2K, and I really Snork. This is great, and if you guys would let me know when you hear it, this is called "Center of the Sun" is the song, and I just put this video to it, so I hope, and you guys haven't seen it yet, so this is going to be a treat for all of us. I hope it's a treat. Anyway, have a great day. Let's go out with something positive, and I think this might do it. Guess what? I'm going to do a replay of that because the sound was jacked in the first part, and I want to clip it in the video. So I'm going to run that one more time. So we're going to have an encore, guys, because I know the sound was messed up. I apologize for that, but I really want to give Snork, the fair play on this. So
That's
if
good,
you
'cause
bear
I
with
just
me, I'm
tweeted
going
it
to
to
run
him.
it one more time without credits this time. I think it's a beautiful song. So there we go.
I'm fond of the mushrooms blooming.
Young girl in the market gives it to the men. When the men leave, her eyes are red. When her eyes are closed again, she sees the dark market of Avon. Yodin, and she sings. They say the most horrible things, but I hear violins when I close my eyes. I am at the center of the sun, and I cannot be hurt by anything this wicked world has done. Young boy in the market follows all the men. When the men leave, he's out of his head. When his eyes are closed again, he sees the dark market of Avon. Yodin, and he sings. They break the most beautiful things, but I hear violins when I close my eyes. I am at the center of the sun, and I cannot be hurt by anything this wicked world has done. I look into your eyes, and I am at the center of the sun, and I cannot be hurt by anything this wicked world has done. Center of the sun. Young boy in the market sees the girl alone and asks her, have you lost your way home? She